Okay folks, I haven't done one of these videos in a while, so I'm going to put together one for the most recent product that I've purchased of late. You know, usually when you see me doing my reloads, I wash the brass, and one of the things I noticed was no matter how much I wash the brass, there's always, and this is dirty, but a lot of times I can't get all of the black powder, smudging and whatnot out of the case itself, or on the edge of the case here, and I can get it clean for the most part, good enough to use, but I really need something a little better. So, since it was my birthday coming up and all, I decided to invest in the Quick-n-Easy case tumbler from Frankford Arsenal. And I've used their scale for many years now, and this is one of the least expensive units you can get on the market. I think I paid $40 for this on eBay, which is nice. Actually, not eBay. I think no, actually Amazon. Amazon actually carries a lot of reloading products now. They can't carry firearms, but they can carry, or ammunition, but they can carry products like this, and this is perfect. So I paid. You can probably go to Natchez Shooting Supply and get them for maybe $36.99 plus shipping. So they're not very expensive, and they're not very heavy, even with the media inside them. Some assembly required. Once you get that, you have to actually, the case comes upside down, and then you have to screw in the bolts, which take a little bit of time and effort, but not a whole lot. But this is nice because a lot of tumblers you have to plug into the wall to turn it on or off. This one actually has a toggle switch, which, you know, if you know a little bit about electrical theory, you can probably put in yourself, but it's nice that it's already there. And it's all included in that one package, so I paid about $40 for this. And then for a separator, since we have a Cabela's here, I just went and got this cheap product here. I think I paid $8 for this. And I mean, you could use a colander or something else probably. It's just got to have a big enough set of holes to let the media go through. But you'll find that you actually don't even have to use this necessarily. It's just nice to have. And then for media, I used this, which is the Lyman Easy Pour turbo tumbler media. This is the green stuff, as they call it. And you could use regular corn media. You could probably get it at a feed store or maybe a pet store, but I decided just to be safe and pay $17 for this case here, and it's a lot of media. And as you can see here, where you take off this lid, you basically get started, fill about half full with this media, which you can see here. It's nice and coarse and abrasive. It's going to do the job that you need it to do. And you know, a lot of these things that I learned not from reading the manual. The manual is very nondescript. It assumes that you know a thing or two about how to do reloading and using a tumbler for that. I just went online, looked at a few videos, and I figured, well, I might as well do one myself here so you can see what it's like. So what you do, like I said, is you put about fill this about halfway full with this media that you're going to use for this process. And you can use walnut as well. It's just I heard that this is easier and cleaner to work with. Then you take, and I keep a Folgers can full of brass. This is 30-06 brass that I keep from my Garand, and then I basically reload it so I can use it for the Springfield. And then basically it's really simple. All you do is you take your brass. I leave the primers in. Some folks insist that you take those out. I prefer to leave them in because it's easier to it keeps the media from getting inside in the nooks and crannies there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually try this here. Pour some of this in. It says you can put up to 200 to 300 cartridges in different sizes. I'm not going to overdo it. This is probably about 40 or 50 or so. Maybe not even that. Let me take this lid off one more time so you can just look at it. So as you see here, we have our brass, dirty brass. This is once fired 30-06 Monarch brand brass. It's the stuff, like I said, I usually use for my M1 Garand. And then I just reload it. Since I don't have to worry about the tolerances as much, I just reload it for my Springfield. And it does pretty well. So you dump your brass in, put the lid on. You're going to need this washer because it helps you from screwing down too tight and cracking the case. You don't want to put it on too tight. You just want to put it on strong enough so that it doesn't come loose, really. If you twist it down too tight, you will break it eventually. Let's plug it in. And then you watch your magic. See if we can see that better here. Well, anyway, I'm going to stop it here. They recommend that you put this on a concrete floor or something very flat and sturdy because, as you can see, it shakes a lot. And if you leave it on a table like this, it's just going to vibrate to death. It might actually move and fall over, but in any event. So basically, if you want to clean your brass, it depends on how dirty it is, but if it's only been shot once like this, I think I ran it only for 30 to 40 minutes, and then after looking at it, I decided to run another 30 to 40 minutes after that. So maybe I ran it at most an hour and a half. And just so you can see the difference in this brass here, this is the stuff I just cleaned yesterday. Now, let me get around here. We saw, let's see if we can get this to focus. This is the dirty brass before and then after. Now, as you can see, it's a lot cleaner. It is a little kind of has a green tinge to it. That's entirely to be expected. And you know, I haven't wiped this down. One of the things you have to do, make absolutely sure you have to do, is wipe this down with a cloth. You know, I haven't really thought much about whether or not I need to clean the insides out or not. What I might do is take a cotton swab, just a damp one, and just run it in here a few times in each one of these just to make sure there's no loose media. What I did to get this out is literally take the lid off. And I didn't even use the strainer because I don't have a big enough bucket to use it in right now. I literally just pick these out by hand. And as you can see, you're going to have to turn them upside down to get that media out, and then just take a cloth and wipe them down. But in any event, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I guess I was just too cheap to do it any other way. But as you can see, it's pretty nice stuff. I really like it. It makes the job of getting their brass ready a lot easier because, you know, in the past what I would have to do is take one of these, resize it and deprime it, then wash it so that the pocket would get clean, and then begin the reloading process. This way you can just basically get your brass clean from the get-go, and then you can do all the reloading steps all at once. You don't have to do half and half or come to a stopping point where you have to wash the brass and let it dry out. So I still think there's something to be said about washing your own brass because it's very cheap and inexpensive and will essentially do the same job. But if you have something especially that's really dirty, and if you've reloaded it, and some folks don't even like to wash brass but maybe once or twice in between, well, they'll do 1 or 2 or 3 shootings in between washes, or tumbling jobs like this. And if you do that, if that's the case, this will certainly save you a lot of time. Obviously, if the brass is dirtier, you're going to want to run it a few more times, maybe like an hour or two, as opposed to 30 minutes. They say you can do this in 30 minutes. And I think after a certain point, there's a diminishing law of returns where, the more and more you let it go, the less and less, difference you see in cleanliness. But, I mean, as you can see, a lot of the discoloration that was occurring here from the once fired rounds I had earlier, a lot of that discoloring has been restored, or the brass, the look of the brass has been restored. So in any event, that's all she wrote for now. We'll have more videos later.